Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube universe, what is going on with you on this Friday? It is Friday, December 1st, 2023, roughly 5:15 p.m. California time. I am, of course, your always gracious host, Fallon from GoNewTropics.com, coming at you with the afternoon coffee chairs. Thank you for cruising through, checking this video out. We are cruising through the holidays, baby. Cruising through the holidays. Just had Thanksgiving, right? For some of us, the holiday season brings joy and spirit, happiness, contentment, the treasured things of life. For others, the holidays bring the anxiety, the depression, the low moods, right? Drop a comment. Which one are you? Are you one of these people that, the holidays are exciting for you? You're gearing up in October for Thanksgiving. You're gearing up in October for Christmas. And it's like you see it in the future, the joy, the joyous moments of time spent with family, time spent with loved ones. Or are you the type that dreads this moment in time? Now, historically, holidays have not been good for me, baby. They've not been good. They have brought the depression. They have brought the anxiety. They have brought these negative emotions, right? In the past, I would deal with holidays by either drinking copious amounts of alcohol, taking copious amounts of phenibut. In more recent history, holidays have gotten somewhat a little better for me. The kratom helps, right? The kratom, I kind of weaned off the phenibut for the holidays, weaned off the booze for the holidays. Haven't drank in probably, I think it'll be 3 years at the end of December. So I would take the phenibut, baby. I would go home and I would take the phenibut, the copious amounts of phenibut, which phenibut, not good for anxiety. I found phenibut has a much more stimulating nature, which is good for kind of like the depressive type. If you're depressed, low energy, kind of like low mental energy in your brain, you don't have these positive feelings, phenibut can put you into that Christmas spirit. So I would do that in the past, but I haven't touched the phenibut. I haven't touched the booze in a long time. We've been taking the kratom. Of course, you guys know I'm back on kratom. And so kratom works great for the holiday blues. I'm thinking about this holiday blues and like what causes it. There's no reason for me to be anxious going home. There's no reason to be depressed. This should be like a joyous time, right? But isn't that what depression is? It's like you're supposed to feel a certain way, but you feel down, you feel sad, you feel depressed, this and that. So we tend to self-medicate just a little more on the holidays, don't we? So you drop a comment below. What is this holiday blues about? Do you get the holiday blues? Or once again, are you one of these people that finds the holidays a joyous time? Are you Cindy Lou Who or are you the Grinch? Right? The Grinch. He had a redemption story, the Grinch. People think of the Grinch as the character who hated Christmas, the character with the least amount of spirit, but you saw at the end of the movie, of the story, that the Grinch turned into one of the most spirited individuals out there. So is there hope, ladies and gentlemen, for those of us who feel this way during the holidays? Is there hope? We all want that redemption story. We want to be redeemed. We want to feel that our life is heading in a better direction. Our life is headed towards a place that's better than it is now. So for many of us, the end of Thanksgiving marked kind of the a winning of one battle, but not the end of the war, right? Because you got Thanksgiving, and now you got to deal with Christmas. So you might have won the first battle, but the war for some of us is far from over. So me and Christine went up to my hometown, my small town. She's from New York City. I grew up in a very small town here in California. Very conservative town, cowboy town. You know, if you blink, you miss the town totally. It's one of those towns, you blink, you don't see anything. The town is small. Most people live on the outskirts of town. You need a truck in the winter type thing, which is nice. So it's up in the mountains. We went and had a pretty good time on Thanksgiving, and we returned to kind of watch my boss's cats because he also traveled for the holidays. He went up to Seattle to visit some family, so we watched the cats for about 5 or 6 days. You know, 5 or 6 days we were kind of hanging out at my boss's place, hanging out with the cats, watching over the house, this and that. And, you know, I've worked with my boss for a long time now, and so I know everything that's in the house. I know he's got the Prevagen, he's got the shingle shots, right? He's got all these things that they promote on the television, right? On CNN. And it finally clicked the other day. I'm seeing the commercials that are coming on the TV because when I go to work, he's got the CNN on. He's got the TV on. It's blaring. He's hard of hearing. So CNN is very loud. So the commercials are even louder. You guys know this. The commercials, man, when they come on, they're loud. They're loud, baby. And I've noticed a lot of his, like, the way he thinks, what he buys, kind of how he thinks about the world is based on what CNN tells him. I'm looking at the Prevagen. I'm looking at, you know, he's telling me to go get a shingle shot. If you watch CNN, or if you watch, if you know somebody who watches CNN, maybe you watch it occasionally, you know every commercial's like they're pushing the shingles, baby, the shingle shot. So he's got the shingle shot. He's got the Prevagen. He's got a lot of the things they promote on CNN. Back when the pandemic was going on, it was about the vax. Some of you guys older to the channel know that my boss was really like hard trying to get me to take the vaccine. And of course, it's on CNN. And I'm thinking to myself that, you know, I thought everybody kind of understood that the commercials you see on TV were kind of like bullshit, right? It's like nobody looks at a commercial and then goes and buys the product, right? Commercials to me really never made sense because I'm like, nobody could possibly take these commercials seriously. Nobody is looking at a commercial and believing the commercial and kind of believing what comes through the TV screen. But in his case, he's one of the smartest guys I know, but apparently susceptible to this kind of quite literally programming, the programming that's coming through the TV, the shingle shots. You know, the vaccine, when the vax came out, the Prevagen for the memory booster, all the supplements that come through on the commercials he has in his house, and it finally clicked. This is advertising that's working. You know, here I was thinking everybody was kind of in on it, that the commercials were just kind of like no one paid attention to them. Nobody really gave the commercials any weight. Everybody kind of looked at the commercials like, okay, wink, wink, we're all in on the secret. But there's people out there that whatever comes through the screen, it's like this trusted thing. And I don't even know if it's a conscious thing on his part. You know, he sees the Prevagen on the TV. He sees the shingle shot. and he's consciously going out and doing these things, or if he's just like at the store one day, sees it and buys it because subconsciously they've been playing this commercial over and over and over again, right? So there are those of us, I believe, and I've kind of been thinking about the 2020 pandemic, right? Back in 2020 when all of this was going on. I just think there are some people who resist the programming. They have a natural inclination to resist the programming. And then there's just others that take it hook, line, and sinker. It's fascinating, you know? And I don't think I'm any better for resisting the programming. But some of us do have like this natural ability to see these commercials and really not take them that serious, while others, they don't. They just don't have it. Here I was thinking everybody knew the commercials. You weren't supposed to believe what they were saying. Nobody buys what was on the commercials. You know, that was my line of thinking, but I'm realizing that there are people, this is why they advertise all the time, because they know if you just repeat the same thing over and over and over again, a lot of the population is going to take it hook, line, and sinker. To somebody like me or you who might resist the programming, this looks like insanity, right? When you're seeing these commercials, and next thing you know, you're looking around somebody's house, they got everything that you see on the commercial. It looks like insanity, you know, because who in their right mind would trust these commercials, baby? So there are those of us that resist the programming for whatever reason. And I don't know if this form of resistance might induce like a type of depression in those of us who have this type of natural resistance. I don't know if it takes like a mental toll on you or like a physical toll when it's like you're constantly resisting the programming. And this resistance, if you look at it like a resistor in electronics, eventually the resistor wears out. The resistor doesn't last forever, right? Eventually the resistor becomes weakened because it's constantly resisting the power. It has to constantly resist what's coming into it. And I do wonder how long the resistance lasts, baby. How long does it last? Maybe at one point he did resist the programming, but now that he's older, that resisting mechanism of him has weakened, disappeared. So it's like whatever comes through the TV, it's held up as a truth. It's held up as something to be believed. You know, some people during the pandemic convinced the shot was a good thing, convinced. And back when all that was happening, you know, my boss, a lot of people I knew, they would try to tell me, oh, the science of why you should get it, the science of why it's safe to get. And, you know, I could have done the research. I could have probably come back with a scientific rebuttal, right? Based in science, based in these facts, right? Do your research, get the facts, and use that for your argument. But honestly, back then, I made no scientific argument why I didn't want to get the vaccine. I didn't trust it. I didn't trust it. When I see these guys in the starched collars and the ties, these guys from the FDA, and I see the drugs they pass and they put their stamp of approval on, like alcohol, like tobacco, cigarettes. When I see these are the types of things that are approved, when things like kratom are shoved under the rug and demonized, I don't trust the system. I don't trust anything that comes out of them. I mean, how could you? When you have the alcohol, you have the cigarettes, you have all these things that are approved And it's like, I don't have any science to give you why you shouldn't take it or why you should take the vaccine. I just don't trust them at all. And that's my one argument. That's why I didn't get it back in 2020. That's why I'm never going to get it in 2023 and beyond. That's why I'm never going to take what they give me, because I don't trust them. I just don't. There's not a bone in my body that trusts anything that they're peddling. I don't trust it. And I've realized some people just have this trust in the system. It could be because he's older. Back then, there was propaganda on the TV and this and that, but it wasn't as like, I would say maybe dangerous, the propaganda. You know, you had a product, okay, they tell you what the product does. You go out and buy the product, right? So I think especially with the boomers, this is like their mindset about TV and these things is still stuck back in the day where you could trust what they were saying on TV. The news was unbiased. There was more journalistic integrity back then. And I think with a lot of these older guys, older people in general, that trust has just continued with them into the year 2023, when maybe somebody like me or you, we're more aware of what's going on, right? We're just more aware. And I just don't trust them as far as I could throw them. That's the reason I didn't get it. A lot of people, they gave me the science. They gave me the facts. You heard a lot of people on YouTube. Now, I think that we could look at the boomers and say, oh, look at them. Just look at them. So susceptible to the programming. But the programming we get is the same. It's delivered in a different format. You look back in 2020, there were a number of YouTubers who got paid to promote the vaccine. They got paid. So while our generation might not trust the traditional news media, we do have more trust in these influencers, right? And a lot of influencers, as you know, peddled this thing because they were paid to do it, right? Is there a greater definition for selling out than when you're an influencer and you take a big paycheck to promote a vaccine to your audience? You know, if it's so great, why do you need all this influence? Why do you need all this propaganda? If it's so great and the facts stand for themselves, why do you gotta push it so hard? So the whole thing for me was just, I do not trust. I have no trust in these systems, and it's sad. I would like to trust the people in charge. You know, I would like to trust the institutions, but I can't because I see, you know. So some of us have this natural resistance to the programming where others just don't. And it's like, sometimes I question myself, like, am I in the wrong here? Am I the only one looking around saying I don't trust a thing that comes out of their mouth? I just don't trust it, right? So we are cruising through the holidays, ladies and gentlemen. We, of course, hope you all are doing good. Blasting through, right? Blasting through holidays, you know. It could bring a time of a deep sadness. You got to spend more money. You see your bank account dwindling down to nothing. You know, dwindling down. This is the holiday spirit for some of us. But I do hope all of you are doing good. Finding a way for those of you that struggle with the holidays to get through them. Try to bring a little spirit into your life, right? Try to enjoy the holidays for once in your life. We are cruising. Fallon, GoNootropics.com. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I will see you very soon. Peace.